Hello and welcome to another episode of Do Not Fade This podcast. My name is Joshua Reimer. I'm joined by none other than the man, the myth, the legend, Jared Block. Jared, how are you doing on this fine Thursday afternoon?
Doing well. Starting to find a little bit of a groove after not doing very well last week, the tail end of that. So feel good from that angle. I like today's slate. I think that there's some really good elite defining pieces, and I do think that there's some trappy stuff on what is a larger Thursday card. So lots going on. Feel like at least on my end, I feel like I'm seeing things a little bit better this week. But yeah, crazy things still continue to happen in March NBA.
Yeah, certainly. Klingon ends up falling short on my end. So does Tyrese Maxey. Unfortunate on my end last night, but now I'm off. Get a little bit of time to recoup till the weekend, but excited to talk with you on the show and host things and kind of lead the conversation. So, without further ado, Jared, let's get into it and let's start talking about injuries.
Yeah, something I did not include in the previous statement was that there are just a ton of injuries on the slate. Tons of guys are questionable. We know that Anthony Edwards is the guy that is the highest, the highest DFS play in terms of salary, the most notable name that's questionable here. But there's other stuff going on too, right? Zion is questionable for the Pelicans. Şengün and Amin Thompson are questionable, as well as Jabari Smith for Houston in a nice spot. Brandon Ingram is questionable for Toronto. Josh Giddey, as well as a ton of other Chicago Bulls. Like, they're one of the most injured teams in the league, so we'll have to wait that one out. Anthony Black is a game time decision, as well as Wendell Carter for the Orlando Magic, who are in a nice spot. Trey Murphy intends to play. We know that Cooper Flagg's going to return to the court today. We also know that Trae Young is going to make his Washington debut, and they have the highest implied team total. We'll get to that momentarily. So a ton going on the slate, and I do think that you got to be really careful on what you do with this one.
For sure, definitely will be fun to talk about. Jared, if you're ready, I'm ready. We can get into top implied team totals.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's kick it off with the top implied team today, and that is going to be the Denver Nuggets as they face off against the Los Angeles Lakers. They have a 123.5 implied team total here. They are 5-point favorites. Over-under is set at 241 in this game. Give me your thoughts. What do you like? What do you not like about the Nuggets here?
Yeah, the Nuggets find themselves in a spot where, like, I find it, at least initially, quite difficult. I do think that this is a spot where you don't love the pace down situation. The Lakers have been a middling defense. They're not allowing a ton of stuff. What they are allowing is a lot of restricted area scoring. But when it comes to what we like to do with the Nuggets, we like to target Joker. We like to target Jamal Murray. I know Murray's had his success against the Lakers in the past. But the problem is, Josh, like, both positions, the point guard and the center position, just have not done well against Los Angeles. So that's where I want to start the conversation. I do have a play that I think is pretty nice, but let's start there. Like, how much do you buy into DVP when we're talking about Joker? We haven't been able to target centers against the Lakers like at all this year.
Yeah, we definitely have stayed away from centers against the Lakers. I feel like this is kind of a spot where, like, if you're relying on that implied team total, then you got to assume someone scores here. Another consistent has been that the Lakers have done a good job of stopping above the break stuff, but where they have struggled is that interior defense, and that's kind of Jokic's bread and butter. So, like, I would think that, like, even with the DVP stuff, Jokic is still probably a decent play. I mean, you got to also remember, like, what centers have they played recently? Like, they played against Derek Queen and DeAndre Jordan in the last one. They played against Maxime Renaud. They played against Horford, then Mark Williams, then Wendell Carter. Like, these aren't a lot of, like, high-profile scoring centers. Last time they did face off against a high-profile scoring center, do you know who it is, Jared?
I don't.
It's Wemby when he put up 40 against
Okay.
his team in like 3 quarters. So, like, we've seen
Okay. Oh,
what
yeah.
elite centers can do against this team. Joel Embiid put up 35 against them. I think that Jokic fits into that category. I know Jokic fits into that category, and it's why DVP doesn't really matter to me all that much here.
Yeah, I would side with that as well. Somebody had asked me earlier in the Discord whether, like, how I felt about that situation. I think more times than not, you're playing Shohei in a bad matchup, right? Like that's kind of just what this is. So that's where I would lean. There's a reason, like you mentioned, that Vegas has this team with the highest implied team total, even though it's not really like a smash spot scenario. With that said, though, I do like Christian Brown quite a bit in this game. I think he profiles as that. I know that they'll slide him in as the number two, on the starting lineup card, but I do like his restricted area scoring. He fits more of that small forward model where we know that the Lakers have struggled and been a funnel to that position the majority of the season. Fun fact, Brown actually does lead the team over Joker slightly from the restricted area. If you filter the last 30 days, it's about 6+ points there. So, yeah, I kind of like that spot, and the team is injured enough at that wing position to make that stand out.
For sure. Could certainly get behind that. You got anything else here? If not, we'll move on to the next team.
No, let's move on.
Let's move on. Let's talk about this next team, which is going to be the Washington Wizards here. They have a 123 implied team total as they face off against the Utah Jazz. They're 4.5-point favorites. Over-under is at 241.5. Give me your thoughts on Washington here.
It's kind of a mind-numbing spot. I really wish I will go out of my way, and maybe we can come to some kind of conclusion here. But I think I will go out of my way to say early on that I really wish that this team wasn't a top 3 implied team total right now at this point of the season. And you also have Trae Young coming back. We don't know what his minutes restriction looks like and what that does to the rest of the rotation. We have a lot of guys out here too, like Sarr, Davis, Whitmore, Jameer Watkins, Kaishan George, Vukcevic. They're all out. Anthony Gill might not even play. And on top of that, they're still only running a lot of guys mid-20s minutes, right? So this kind of just sucks from a lot of angles. I'll try to be more optimistic and say, I do think that guys like Champagny have kind of stepped up and have done well from a scoring angle. I think Carrington's done really well, though I worry about what this role looks like now with Trae Young in the mix. What are your thoughts here on Young, and who can we trust for this team?
Yeah, I don't really know how to feel about Young. I feel like this is kind of a wait-and-see scenario where, who knows what his minutes will look like tonight. I think that you're much safer just waiting and seeing in that regard. I think the most consistent player here is going to end up being Will Riley. I think he's the only guy in this lineup off the bench or a starter that is going to play 30+ minutes. He's been taking pretty consistent shots recently. He's been getting up a good amount of points too. I mean, he's had double-digit points in 6 out of the last 7 games. He's taken double-digit shots in 4 out of the last 6 games. I like Will Riley as a player. I think he is solid, and I think he has shown some stuff, especially when he does get the start. I would expect him to get the start today. He's really the only guy that I feel like I can trust minutes-wise. So, that's where I'm automatically going to lean towards.
He also leads the team via paint scoring over the last month, which I know is not, a super huge number, but it is a zone where Utah has been leaking points right now. Really weird spot. I'm glad that Denver kind of got the highest implied team total over the course of the last couple hours, because I was dreading talking about this situation. If you find anybody on the internet talking positively about Washington confidently, you kind of got to double check that.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Anything else here? If not, we can move on to the next team.
We can move on.
Let's move on. Let's talk about the Pelicans here. They have a 120.5 implied team total. They are 5.5-point favorites. Over-under is set at 234.5. You already mentioned we're kind of waiting on that Zion news for this team, but give me your thoughts on what the Pels bring to the table.
Yeah, we already know that DeJounte is out too, so that opens things up in a variety of ways. We also got the news that Trey Murphy, on top of being probable, there was another update saying that he was going to try to give it a go and should be available. So that's a good thing. He hadn't missed a game, but he had the neck issue. So we'll see, and we should just count on him being in, I think, at this point. So with that said, this is a slight pace down in 12 versus 14, so I wouldn't really count it as that. Should be viewed as a nice game environment with a 230-plus game total. We know that the Kings are just allowing a ton of above-the-break stuff and a lot of paint stuff. This basically profiles Trey Murphy as one of the better three-point spots on the slate. He ranks 4th, actually 3rd from above the break in the NBA. From that zone in that time frame, he's basically averaging over 3.5 threes from above the break there. So in terms of top overall 3-point spots, this one's really, really strong on paper. I think that also extends to Sadiq Bey slightly as well. And then I think this is a nice spot off the bench for a Jeremiah Fears play with DeJounte out. This is a team in Sacramento that we've targeted pretty religiously from the point guard position recently, and I think that could continue today. It's not, Jordan Poole's just not playing right now, so I think we give the edge to Fears there for 25 minutes.
Yeah, I could certainly get behind it. I like the Murphy spot the most, I think, overall. Just like knowing that he's a good above the break three shooter, knowing that's where the Sacramento team struggles, feels like the key spot to go to. But everything else you mentioned is solid. Kind of got to wait on Zion news. Like, I think that does pretty heavily affect the usage that Trey Murphy ends up getting tonight. So, I don't know. I feel iffy playing it now. I feel better knowing what that news ends up looking like. All right, anything else? If not, we'll move on to hottest shooters.
Yeah, that Zion stuff's weird because he got hurt in the Utah game, then he missed the Clippers game entirely. That was the second leg of the back-to-back. And then comes back and plays 33 minutes against the Lakers and looks pretty good. So we should probably just do our due diligence and see if they play tomorrow. Yeah, they do play tomorrow, so they have the opportunity to rest Zion one of these days, and that's definitely what they're doing with DeJounte.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Let's head over to hottest shooters. Jared, I'll let you go first in this regard. Who do you want to talk about here?
Let's see. So we don't have the Derek White spot today. We don't have a few of these other guys that have been lights out. Anthony Edwards has hit 3+ threes in 8 of his past 10 games. He's scored 30+ points religiously. He's coming off a 40-point game. He is questionable, but he is arguably like top 3 in terms of this category.
Yeah, can certainly get behind it. I'm going to the Reed Shepherd spot. He's been kind of like my guy recently. Love what he's been doing. 5 straight games with 14+ points. We have a whole bunch of injury flux that kind of has to work itself out for this Houston team. But if he ends up going, this Golden State team's allowing the 6th most three-pointers made to the point guard position over the last 7 games. I think Shepherd could hoop here if he ends up getting a good role. And honestly, I'm fine going it either way. Like, he's been pretty consistent at this number. So definitely can get behind Shepherd as one of the hottest shooters.
Yep. Another guy on that list that we mentioned a couple of days ago was Devin Vassell, who has been the most consistent Spur in that regard. 26+ PRA in 5 straight games. Does line up well from above the break today in that matchup, so I like that spot. I do have one more as well.
Go for it.
And then I just lost it. Let's see. Oh, Colin Gillespie, 15+ points in 5 straight games. Like, that looks pretty good. Now Jordan Goodwin's out, so that's another bump for him. I'll find it. There's one more. It wasn't him, so I'll keep looking.
Yeah, I was just going to mention Max May-Renard here. Not a super long stint, but 16+ points in 3 straight games, and the matchup could not get better. He's also done well against this Pelicans team this season to add on top of it. Think there is a little bit of that fight for the first overall rookie team that him and Queen are having right now, so I think Renard's going to come extra motivated as well.
The guy that I forgot immediately and then found it again was Emmanuel Quickley, who has hit 3+ threes in 8 of the past 10. And we also know that Ingram is potentially missing. He's questionable right now. So, yeah, Quickley in a good spot there.
For sure. All right. Anything else here? If not, we'll go over to round table.
Nope, that's pretty much it.
All right, let's head over to round table. For those who don't know how it works, Jared and I bring some of our top plays to the table to talk about. Those plays are in different statistical categories, and those categories are points, rebounds, and assists. Jared, I'll let you go first. We start out with the points position. Where do you want to go?
Yeah, there's a lot of really good spots on the slate. I kind of mentioned it early and probably didn't do it enough justice. This slate in general has some pretty elite and a good number of them too, probably more than one hand in terms of elite point scoring spots, and this is going to be one of them. I do think this is like an absolute hammer situation for Paolo Banchero against Dallas. We know that Dallas is just giving up a ton of interior scoring, and I do think that he'll have his way with pretty much whoever guards him in this spot. Recently, they have allowed the 2nd most points to the power forward position over their last 7 games. On top of that, they're just getting smashed in like every single interior, front court zone, mid-range paint, restricted area, you name it. And Paulo averages close to 7 field goals in all of those spots per game the last month. So really like the spot there.
Definitely can get behind Paulo. I'm going to go with Bam Adebayo here. He's gone over this 21 number in 3 straight games. He's facing off against this Nets team that has been really struggling in the restricted area, where Bam has averaged 8.2 points over the last 7 games. They're also struggling the most against the center position when it comes to DVP, allowing the 4th most points to the center position over the last 7 games. Bam's been relatively consistent, at least over this little 3-game stretch that we've had, where he's had 23 plus points in all 3 of those games. And this is a good matchup. I think the only thing that gets you really scared is if this ends up staying close, and that's kind of the risk that you have to take with this one. But Bam's been pretty good in blowouts overall, whether this team wins by 10 or wins by 15. He's done pretty well in those games. So I like the Bam play a lot today.
Yeah, I like the Bam spot quite a bit too. When it comes to rebounds, you can go a variety of different directions. I'm sure we'll cover this in the one game where centers can do extremely well against each other. I have some thoughts on that I want to break down with you. So before we get there, though, I think this is a pretty elite rebounding spot for Julius Randle, who gets a matchup where where Toronto has allowed the 2nd most rebounds to power forwards. On top of that, we do know that Ant's questionable, and that spot would only get better from that angle.
For sure. I'm going with this Jalen Duren spot, man. I will continue to hammer the play, hammer the take that this San Antonio team is like completely regressed against the center position. All around, they have been pretty terrible. Wemby just hasn't been playing the same level of defense that he has been playing all year. So over the last 7 games, we've seen San Antonio allow the 8th most points to centers, the 2nd most rebounds, and I think this is a spot where obviously I'll highlight Duren's rebounds and say that like he's gotten over this rebound line of 11 rebounds in 5 out of the last 6. But overall, I think Duren's in just like a really solid points and rebound spot. But we're highlighting rebounds here. That's what I'll highlight him as. But overall, this spot's very good for Duren.
Over the last 5 games for Duren, that includes the game against San Antonio where he had 14 rebounds. So in that 5-game stretch, he has averaged 25.6 rebound chances per game, which is, nice. For those wondering, like if a 30-day sample size, the most you're going to see is like 21. And then on the whole year, it's probably closer to 20. So definitely hooping right now. They're going to get up for this game. It's going to feel like a finals environment. So really like that spot. And I'm glad you brought it up because like both centers in the game do profile well from that angle. I think you need to include Wemby, and the fact that I know that he's been a little bit inconsistent, you can say that's probably due to a lot of games blowing out for San Antonio right now. But he did have 17 rebounds on, is this right? Yeah, 31 rebound chances against Detroit in the last game. So that's pretty insane.
Yeah, certainly is insane for sure. All right, we head over to assists. What do you got?
The assist spot that I want's the Jeremiah Fears spot. I do think he walks into a beautiful matchup. I like the pace of that game. The Sacramento Kings have allowed the 4th most assists to point guards over their last 7 games, as well as the entire year from that regard. And we already said no DeJounte Murray, possibly no Zion. That would open up some stuff for Fears there.
Yeah, can certainly get behind that. I am going to go to this spot for let's go with Jalen Suggs. I want some part of this Orlando team. You already mentioned the Paulo spot, which I really like, but Suggs feels like he's in just as good of a spot. 85% of point guards have hit their assist line against this Dallas team over the last 10 games, and they've hit it by a significant margin, too. You know, we talk about these numbers like 85% of point guards or 85% of whatever position have hit this stat against this team over the last 10 games. Sometimes it is helpful to look at the average that they have gone over, the average those point guards have gone over. They've gone over by 1.96 assists per game, per point guard. Like, that's pretty significant. That means that, like, if a guy like, I don't know, name whoever, LaMelo had like a 7 assist line, he's clearing it by 9. Like, it's a pretty significant amount. It might not sound like a lot, 1.96, but to cover it by that much is significant. Suggs has also been really consistent from the assist market. Like, he's on a little bit of a down stretch over the last 4 games, but before this 4-game stretch, he had hit 6+ assists in like 7 straight games. So I really like the Suggs spot here. I think you should be getting a lot of exposure to Orlando overall.
Yeah, it's a team that certainly, they don't have a top 5 implied team total. I'm pretty sure it's like in the close to like the 6-7 range, but they are in an amazing spot where like I'd much rather rely on an Orlando player rather than a Washington player tonight.
For sure. They're tied for 5th right now with Utah.
Okay. Yeah.
Right on that spot. All right, you got anything else here? If not, we'll head over to Two Minds Are Better Than One.
No, I think we can move on.
For sure. Let's move on. For those who don't know how Two Minds Are Better Than One works, Jared and I go back and forth, each of us selecting 2 player props each. We put those player props into a parlay with our goal for the parlay to have odds of around plus 100 to plus 150. We played over on DraftKings Sportsbook, but you can play it wherever you like. Jared, I'll let you go first. Where do you want to go? We fell short last night, too. I should say that. I try to recap these all the time. We fell short last night. I honestly don't know where because I didn't take a look, but I know we didn't end up hitting last night.
We fell short from the Alexander Walker assist mark. Tyrese actually ended up falling short, too, on the PRA number.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, pretty
I didn't get a chance
stuff.
to talk about the Tyrese stuff, but man, what a sad play to go wrong. It felt so good.
Sure. Yep. What I'll do is go to the Minnesota-Toronto game. I know that we can't talk much about the Wolves until we find out what's going on with Ant, but I do think we can lean into the injury and just hope that Brandon Ingram doesn't play. Regardless, I love this spot for Emmanuel Quickley here, who gets kind of just an all-around smash matchup. And maybe the assists might not be there as much, but the points and rebounds certainly will be. Minnesota has allowed the second most points to point guards, and they're giving up quite a few rebounds to the position as well. So I think maybe I want to just lean on in the points category here and just lean into that. So we'll go with whatever works for points for Quickley.
Points for Quickley. Let's see.
I hope they give it to us. It'd be a bummer if they didn't.
Yeah, they have it. We can go 12 plus for. Well, we kind of have to go 12 plus, sadly here. But definitely a good spot for Quickley. Definitely can get behind that. I want to go to this spot for. I want to make sure they have it before I say anything here. And they do have it. Yeah. I want to go to this Grayson Allen spot, man. Continues to be a dog from 3-point range. Continues. I mean, he's coming off the bench now because of Devin Booker coming back. But I don't really care all that much about him coming off the bench or not. Like, I think he's perfectly fine as a starter or off the bench. I think he's still getting significant run. This Chicago team continues to bleed points. They continue to give up a bunch of threes, especially to the shooting guard position. We'll go with 2 plus 3s for Grayson Allen here.
Yeah, I wanted to just check how many attempts he's taking. He's like double-digit attempts in 4 of his last 5 games, including like a 16-attempt game recently. I looked earlier, and I saw that he'd ranked like 3rd in the NBA from above the break over the last month, and significantly averaging more attempts than everybody else in that range. So, yeah, it's pretty insane stuff.
For sure. All right, where are you going to go next?
We're going Murphy 3s, whether that's 2 or 3. I know that his base number is 3.5.
Let's go see. Murphy 3s. Let's go with 2 plus.
Okay.
Yeah, I definitely feel solid about that. And then for the last play here, a play that we did not get to talk about, but one that I do really like. And I mean, you've done a lot more research than me today. Today's technically my day off, but like, I think this is a really good spot for Luka here. This is a Denver team that is bleeding. Why are you laughing? I got to know. I can't.
I'm laughing because I was hoping we'd make it through the show without talking about the best play on the slate, Josh.
Oh no, I'm sorry to ruin it for you. I won't say anything then, because I'm sure you've gone over it for members and the rundown and everything. Let's just say that like I can definitely see this Luka play checking out overall. So definitely behind that. We'll go for 25 plus points from Luka Doncic here. So altogether, we have Quickley for 12 plus points, Grayson Allen for 2 plus 3-pointers made, Trey Murphy for 2 plus 3-pointers made, and Luka Doncic for 25 plus points. Altogether gets you at plus 105. Jared, let's get out of here. Give the people your final thoughts. What do they need to know about today's 9-game slate?
Yeah, if you made it to minute 24 of the podcast, you just learned what my favorite play of the day was. So congratulations. So patience is rewarded in that regard. This slate's pretty fun. I think that there's a lot of questionable tags that need to get sorted out before we feel great about like the secondary plays on our big board. But yeah, you have a couple of primary plays here, like I mentioned, that are pretty elite overall. And I do think that, we might get some blowouts here and there, but this card in general just kind of stands out to me as the best one we've had this week in terms of the solidity and the amount of plays that are really, really good. So I think you can maybe say the same. How do you feel about that statement after doing some stuff for 20 minutes here?
Yeah, after looking at the slate for 25 minutes, like I kind of wish I was kind of wish I took up there was a potential of me writing up a few games today, and I kind of wish I took you up on that because I would have had a lot of fun writing up some of these games. Yeah, I think it's a fun slate, man. I think all around, like, it's one of those slates where it feels like every matchup has something, you know?
Yeah.
Dallas Orlando has something, and you can feel good about that game staying relatively close with Cooper back, too. That's something that's always been a concern with Dallas. Utah and Washington has something there. Depending on what happens with Houston, there's something there. Miami, I really like Bam. Like, you can keep going down the list, and I think honestly, every single game has like a play that you can definitely get behind today. So it's about narrowing it down. I think you'll do a great job of it as always. It looks like a really fun slate, man. Like I said, I feel like I missed out a little bit, but that's okay. Be back over the weekend. I'm sure there'll be some goodness there. Jared, you got anything else? If not, let's get out of here, man.
Last thing, I think we need to take and this could get better, it could get worse, or it could just stay the same. Like, this is and I know the narrative is probably played out at this point, but we do have Kevin Durant in a pretty phenomenal spot. You mentioned the Houston stuff. You need some injuries to kind of go your way, but if they don't, like, I don't think that matters. I think this spot is still extremely good for him. Narrative aside, right? Like, they're gonna put Draymond on him, but like at the same time, the dude's been dropping 30+ points religiously, and now he gets a good spot on top of it. So, yeah, another great matchup that we didn't get to talk about today.
Yeah, I feel like oh no, I'm wrong. I thought that like when the team wins by 10, he did really well. I guess that's not the case. Still, really like the KD spot over there. Can definitely get behind that. No matter who they put on him, it's a good spot. All right. Anything else, Jared? If not, we'll get out of here.
No, short show, lots of stuff to cover though, and we still got more work to do.
For sure. Yeah, just a little housekeeping note. No show tomorrow. We never do a show on Friday. Kind of our day to take off and relax a little bit, get content done and all that. So we will not be back tomorrow, but we will be back on Monday. And yeah, anything else? That's it. We're all good.
That's it.
All right, let's get out of here. Thank you all for listening. As always, my name is Joshua Reimer. We will see y'all next week.